Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and welcome to episode number 130 of WIP Wednesday, which is my weekly live chat where I'm usually demoing something, showing you how to do something, or telling you what we have coming up next. And we're going to do a little bit of all that here today. So let's stop and check real quick, make sure that everyone can see me and hear me. And if you can, let me know real quick in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat box below. Let's see who we have tuning in already. I see Mary from Michigan. Sheila's in the house from Massachusetts. Zena, which is a neighbor, says, hello, everybody from hot, hot Florida. Yes, it is hot, hot and humid, but yet we still have had no rain. My garden is struggling. I have to water everything twice a day, and I'm ready for one of our Florida thunderstorms as soon as possible. All right, let's see. Hi, Margie, tuning in from Wisconsin. We got Janelle in the house from Illinois. Hey, Janelle. We got Debbie. She says she can see me and hear me fine. Della in the house from Southern California. She says, beautiful shirt. And this shirt is exactly what we're going to be talking about today because I'm hosting a brand new sew-along. Hi, Kay, tuning in from Jacksonville, which is just up the road from us here in North Central Florida. Gloria from Arkansas. Hi, Wendy, tuning in from Australia. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the top that I'm wearing, oftentimes y'all see me on these WIP Wednesday episodes and I'm like, or somebody will mention something, or sometimes I forget to say it, but I'll be like, this is another Westchester Dolman top. And this is a new and another Westchester Dolman top that I just made this week. This is a pattern that I designed way back when, I think in 2017 maybe, and we launched it 2018. We did sew-alongs back then, and I even have this hack pack course bundle that shows you different ways on how to hack this, how to bring the neckline higher, lower, a V-neck, long sleeve, short sleeve, and tunic length. So we're not talking about all of that, but I do have a separate video course that I offer that teaches you how to do all those changes to this basic free pattern, which is an awesome, awesome, awesome beginner-friendly project. For those of you that maybe want to make garments, but still feel a little something, some kind of way about working with stretch knit fabrics, this is a great one to start with because there are only 4 pattern pieces, y'all. 4 pattern pieces, okay? It's a dolman top, meaning the sleeve is not separate from the body, okay? So the front is like one panel like this. I cut it on the fold and all of this is one. And then the back is another one panel, okay? Then we have a third pattern piece that is the cuff that you end up cutting out 2 times, so you can put one here to finish off your sleeve and another one here, so you don't even have to hem your sleeves. We're adding a band. It's a quick way. It's, I feel like, a more beginner-friendly way to finish your sleeves, right? The hems. And then the fourth piece is the neckband. That's it. 4 pattern pieces, okay? Margie says, I love the hack pack. Awesome, thank you. Okay. So we're going to be hosting a free sew-along on how to make my Westchester Dolman top. The link to sign up, it's a free sew-along, okay, is in the description box below. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to a page where you need to enter your email address and we send you an email automatically, okay? That's how you register and sign up. Then you need to check your inbox and check that it make sure it doesn't go to spam or junk, because in that email, you're going to have the enrollment link for your free course. It's a 7-part video series, and I'm going to go live 3 times starting next week. So you have basically 8 days to get your supplies together, okay, your fabric and whatever else you need. If you want to get the hard copy pattern, let's go ahead and give them my over-the-shoulder shot here so we can show them the pattern and the cover sheet and all that. So I say this is a free sew-along. It is a free sew-along. It is also a free PDF pattern, and all the video lessons are free. So there's no excuse. If you've been wanting to make garments and you want to work with stretch knit fabrics and your size range fits within the size range that's included in this free pattern, obviously I don't have like Jali does where they have like 28 sizes. This is just a free pattern that includes women's sizes small through 3XL, but I think it's really important to go over the description of the pattern, right? Because this is not, when we read, and I go over this a lot when I teach classes on garment sewing patterns, you have to read the pattern description, okay? Because this is not just like a t-shirt. And then you're thinking, oh, it might be boxy. That's what I need. It's not a boxy shirt. It's a fitted shirt, okay? So let's quickly read here together. The Westchester Dolman top. It's for a fitted top with a round neckline and 3/4 length cuffed dolman sleeves. So just in that one sentence, it tells you a ton, right? It's fitted. So if you like your clothes loose, this is probably not going to be the pattern for you, okay? Because it's not really boxy where you can just go up a couple sizes and have it fit you loose. If you don't like to wear fitted stuff and you go up a few sizes, the neckline is going to be way wider. Like instead of finishing up here, it might finish here, right? Because you're making a bigger top that's designed to be fitted. So be careful with that. This is obviously not going to work for everybody, but if you fit within these parameters and these measurements and you want to give it a try, welcome aboard because it's free, okay? The round neckline, so this is the neckline. I know a lot of you will ask, oh, I can't wear round necklines. I like a V-neck. We're not covering a V-neck in the sew-along, but that how to convert it into a V-neck is included in a separate course that I sell that teaches you, you know, how to, like I just mentioned earlier, bring up the neckline, scoop it lower, make it V-neck, take the sleeves from what's included in the pattern, which is this length, 3/4 sleeves. I show you how to make it long sleeve, short sleeve. So these are all things that you're going to then have to like change up the pattern itself to accommodate those changes. That's way beyond the scope of the free sew along, okay? So the way you see me wearing it here, I cut out size large, straight through and through. I didn't even make my usual change that I do by grading out a little bit bigger at the hips. And we'll talk about that why in a minute. But so fitted top with a round neckline, 3/4 length cuffed dolman sleeves. Like I mentioned, there is a cuff that's attached here, a separate band. So for those of you that are like me and like to play around with scraps of fabric and you might want to have like a two-tone shirt, you could do like the body of it something and then like I've made shirts like this before and then maybe have like a solid color as the band if you want like a little accent piece down here. You could do the same thing for the neckline. I know over the years y'all have seen me make them like that where maybe if I had the same floral, maybe I'll do solid black for the cuffs and solid black for the neckline. In this instance of the one I'm wearing, I use the same fabric throughout, but that just gives you options because it is a separate fabric piece, okay? So you know that you'll be able to color block. You know, if you want to make a cute top for a game or something, you can do like the team's colors. There's all kinds of fun things we can play with when we make our own clothes, okay? So next line says the hem ends at the lower hip line for more coverage. Can we put them the other camera shot and let me see if I can back up enough so they can see where it hits. I also have pictures on the product description page. You can see, I can probably come back. You see where it hits on my jeans? So past the pockets and you get good coverage. Look, you can't even see the bottom and it's already down to here, okay? So really nice. I have a short torso and I hate when the shirts fit me like right here unless I'm trying to wear a crop tee. This is, as you can see the shaping on it because it is a fitted top, this is designed to be kind of for like an hourglass figure, okay? We'll talk a little bit in the sew along videos. You'll see how I typically do like a large and then I'll grade out to an extra large at the hips a little bit more. But this one I told you I just did the large through and through. It's not tight on my arms. I can easily raise them and you can see that the hemline doesn't come too high up. I love that. We have more coverage here to cover our belly and come down further on the hips. It is just like a super comfy shirt and so easy to make, okay? So that's where the hem ends, or it's designed to end at least. Beginner-friendly top for sewing with stretch knit fabrics, okay? And there's only 4 pattern pieces, like I said. Now it includes step-by-step video lessons taught by me. And in the video lessons, I include an easy to understand technique for doing the neckband. So one of the issues that I have often found to have, especially when I first started making clothes, was if I had a pattern that had a pattern template piece for the neckband, depending on how much stretch the fabric I had or I was using had in it, I would sometimes end up with like I had to be pulling on the neckband too much, or it was like super floppy, like the fabric maybe had more stretch than what the pattern called for, and then it ends up like standing up stiff like that. So instead of dealing with a pattern template piece, because our fabric stretch amounts can vary so much, I show you how to make your own custom neckband. Okay, so you'll be able to, once you do this sew along with us and you go through the video lesson on how to make and attach a neckband yourself, you're going to be able to change the neckline on any garment and figure out how much fabric, like what the length of that neckband piece to cut, so that when you attach it, it fits perfectly smooth. There is no puckering, there's no pinching, there's no like I stretched it too much on one side and too little on another. Nice and smooth, and it lies flat against my chest. Love it. It's a great technique, okay? Awesome. Diana says, I just signed up. Okay, great. Tamara says, this top has such a nice fit, especially with stretch knits. Thank you. Tamara's been around for a long time, and I know she's made several of these, so that is great to hear. I appreciate the feedback. All right, so again, a free garment sew-along to make this top that I'm wearing, my Westchester Dolman top. The link is in the caption on Facebook and in the video description box on YouTube, okay? So this is the pattern. Here you can see I cut this one out of the hard copy sheet because, of course, I print them, so I have a bunch. In the videos, I show you how to trace it off, and I show you how I grade out here. This one, you can see that I just followed the line directly on the large. So I followed the dash. There's different dashed lines for the 6 different sizes. Remember I said women's small through 3XL. And these measurements here that are included in the pattern, and you'll see this in the free PDF if you download it as well, are based on your body measurements, okay? So again, it is based for, like, designed for like an hourglass figure. So if you're not exactly, your bust doesn't measure exactly one of these, you can always adjust that a little bit, either by sizing up if you have maybe a fabric that has less stretch than called for, or sizing down if you're using a fabric that has more stretch than what I call for in the pattern, okay? So there is some sliding scale, like a range here that you can do. I went ahead and cut out the size large all the way through, and the fabric I'm using here, I want to say it has 60% stretch. Let me see. We'll double check this real quick. This fabric, we do have it for sale. I don't have a lot. I know people, when I emailed it out today to our email newsletter subscribers, people already started buying it up. So there may not be any of this left, but I thought I would put it up what I had left on the bolt, and we'll show you a couple different fabrics that I still have in stock. So let me measure real quick here, 4 inches, and then we stretch 25, 50, 75, a little bit more than 75% stretch that way. And then the other way, 25 and almost 50. So this, I can't remember, what did I put on the thing? Maybe 30 or 40% stretch, and then 60 the other way. So, or 75 almost the other way. So the pattern suggests that you use a stretch knit fabric that has at least 50% stretch in both directions, okay? So the importance of having that stretch in both directions is going to be, one, the crosswise grain, that the fabric stretches this way, okay? So it gets around your head, your bust, and you're able to put it on, okay? And then lengthwise, I like it to have a good bit of stretch, because that length this way, or excuse me, that stretch lengthwise this way is going to give you a little bit more coverage in terms of how long the top finishes, okay? So that to me is important too, because as I showed you earlier, this goes all the way down past your hip line, okay? Now, so that's what you'll need, is a stretch knit fabric that's at least 58 to 60 inches wide, and it'll say it on the bolt if you're buying it from a shop. And then fabric requirements, depending on the size you're making, obviously you'll need a different amount. But if you get 2 yards, you'll be able to make it in any of the sizes: small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, 3XL. Okay? But remember, this is a fitted top. I know I'm going to get messages. I like to wear my shirts loose. If you like to wear your shirts loose, this is not the one for you, unless you seriously make some adjustments at the top and all that, so that the neckline is not super wide and gaping. But we're not covering that, okay? We're sticking to it just like it is. However, for just 2 yards of fabric, if you just want to go through the motions and make one maybe for somebody else, I think this would be a great exercise, because again, free video lessons. I'm going live 3 times to answer your questions and chat with you while I make another top alongside y'all, okay? All right, so the hard copy pattern. So here's how it works. It's a free PDF. When you click the link and sign up for the sew along, we're going to email you the link so you can get access to the PDF, the free PDF. I think it's like 20 pages. I don't even want to think about it because I hate taping PDF sheets. But if you want just free PDF that you can tape together and pick out your size, I have that for you for free. If you want to purchase the hard copy pattern, which comes on a sheet this big, we have those currently in stock, okay? It comes folded up. You have a huge sheet like this. Way easier to trace. okay? Or if you buy two, you can hack right into one and then preserve one original if you want to. The pattern templates are on here. We have different lines to suggest the different sizes. So you go this way, okay? Small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, 3XL. We talk all about how to orient your fabric, how to change the pattern a little bit if you need to grade out from the bust to the hip measurement here if you're going from one size to another. And then you see the sleeve band template is down here. And you'll notice I mentioned there are 4 pattern pieces, but this pattern sheet only has 3 because the neckband, I tell you up here, just to cut one strip that measures 2 inches by 45. That's going to be way more than you need, but that's what we're going to start off with so that I can show you how to measure your round neckline and cut that strip exactly to the size you need so that you're stretching it just enough to get it to lie nice and flat against your chest. Okay, so there's no template piece for the neckband. You start off with just a longer chunk and I show you how to measure around, cut it, and attach it. So you have your custom attached or custom made neckband to fit your pattern. So hard copy pattern in the big sheet is available in our shop. The link is in the description box below. It'll come with the cover sheet too. So you have, you know, the size chart is included in there, but it's also on here. It has some information on here. The notions that you'll need. If you have ballpoint pins, those would be great. You will need a ballpoint jersey needle. The size of the sewing machine needle is going to depend on the thickness of the fabric that you're working with. So if you're using like a really light knit, you can probably use a ballpoint or jersey size 10. I typically, if I'm using like double brush polyester spandex, which is the fabric I use for this top, DBP is what it's called, or a regular cotton spandex that a lot of the quilting companies, you know, they print their same quilting fabric designs on stretch fabric, cotton spandex. I will use just a jersey or ballpoint size 80-12 needle. Okay, that works good. If you're going to be making it out of something thicker, then you may consider going up to a same, still ballpoint jersey needle, but maybe a size 90-14. Okay, 80-12 is going to be the best bet. Now, that's what you'll need. You'll need something to mark your fabric with, so a marker, chalk, or something like a fabric safe marking tool. And then that's really it, something to cut your fabric with and a sewing machine that can sew straight stitch and zigzag stitch. Okay, that's all you need. There's no, you know, you don't have to have specialty tools, but they sure do make it a lot more fun and easy. So we do have a bunch of tools that they just come in handy to have when you are making garments in general. Okay, so these are optional, but I will go over a couple in a second. The first one is my clip and slide measuring tape. We have these in the online shop. Again, the link is below. I love this because I don't need to have anybody around me to take my body measurements. It clips into place. You put it around your body, at your bust, your waist, your hip, right? Whatever it is that you're trying to determine. It clips into here. And then you just pull it until it's snug around you, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Don't try to cheat it because then you're going to be uncomfortable in a garment you made that was too small. Breathe out. And then when you have it sitting where it needs to be around your bust, waist, or hips, then all you need to do is unhook it and then pull it around you. And when you look at it, you'll see that this red line on this plastic piece is going to be right on the measurement. And that's how you determine the measurement of your bust, your waist, or your hips, okay? Ideally, you're measuring like this, and I have a video showing you exactly how to do this. It's a free video showing you exactly how to use the clip and slide measuring tape to take your measurements and garments. So we'll put that there in the free sew along for the Westchester Dolman top, okay? Super handy to have. It is only 60 inches though, so keep that in mind. The other optional products, if you're going to get the hard copy pattern, okay, or if you're printing the PDF, but you plan to trace it off and maybe add, you know, change it up a little bit, make the hips a little bit wider, maybe you don't like it to come in so sharply at the waist for that hourglass finish. If you want to kind of open it up a little bit more, the TheCraftyGemini curvy ruler is the bomb. It's a more miniature sized version of a typical, you know, garment sewing French curve ruler. Super easy. There's a curved side, a tighter curved side, and then you have a straight side. So you'll often see me using this anytime that I'm tracing out patterns, commercial patterns. I trace them onto my own pattern tracing paper, and I use this. I match up the curve. I just keep pushing up the ruler until I match whatever curved area it is. So in my pattern, it would be matching this up maybe under the arm, around the neckline area when you're tracing it out to use. So very handy. This one here, You don't have to have it, but when we get to the neckband, it's crucial. Okay, this is the Curve Runner, and these ones have all my branding on them, so you can only get the Crafty Gemini version ones from us. A lot of you I know have had them forever, probably for 7, 8 years or something. So this one, you'll see, has a little spinning wheel that has measurements on it. Okay, this is the 12-inch Curve Runner. It starts at 0, and then on a circular run like this, you have the measurements. So from 0 and 1 full rotation back to 0 is 12 inches, okay? And so we use this, I'll just give you an example, a quick demo. If this was, pretend, the neckline of my shirt, say the front, okay? And I wanted to measure what is this curve along the seam allowance where I'm going to stitch it, right, to help me figure out how long do I need to cut my neckband piece. Obviously, you would be measuring the back and the front together to get the full circumference of the neck area, but I'm just going to do this to show you. I would start it at the top and say my seam allowance is 1/2 inch. I'm going to come in 1/2 inch and place the 0 there. Then I go around like this, still keeping 1/2 inch, and I come back around the other side. That's a full rotation right there, so I know that, whoop, that's 12 inches, and I keep going. When I get to the top here, I look to see where I stopped, and it's at 2 3/4. So I said 1 full rotation was 12, and I ended up at 2 3/4. So 12 plus the 2 3/4 puts you at 14 3/4. That means that the measurement from here to here is 14 3/4, okay? Without you having to like put this straight without not stretching it to try and measure that out. So it just comes in really handy, especially when you're putting in sleeves, if you're making any type of adjustments and you need to measure around the curve. The Curve Runner, y'all know I use it all the time. If you've been around with me for years, you know that I use it. Let's see. Tamara says, I love that rolling ruler for all garment sewing. Agreed. Because in garments, it's not like quilting, right? We don't just have straight seams. We have curves all over the place, so it really comes in handy. All right, let's see. Oh, great. Jamie says, I love the clip and slide measuring tape. And Margie says she has the curvy ruler for tracing out patterns. It makes it easier. Great. Yes. So, Winless Original says, I have one of those bendy architect rulers and it's really unpleasant to use. This one I find, I mean, it's great because it's so slim, right? Be careful you don't snap it, but it's so thin that you can more easily stay at whatever the seam allowance is. And because it's clear, that allows you to see how far in you're going so that you stay at the seam allowance, okay? Because if you don't know how this stuff works, especially like if you're not a quilter that sews curves, if the seam allowance is at 1/4 inch away from the edge, you need to be measuring at 1/4 inch. Because if you're trying to match up 2 pieces of fabric at the seam allowance, that's where the measurement needs to match up. So that's kind of partly like designing. When we do stuff with bags and I'm measuring a big curve on the shape or the design of the bag, I have to do that too. So if you try and sew a seam allowance that's narrower than called for or wider than called for, then you start running into problems where the fabrics don't meet, right? They don't match up together because you're going either smaller or bigger than that seam allowance. So this is great for measuring right at the seam allowance so that as long as you sew accurately, you know you're going to get a good connection there between the two pieces of fabric that you're sewing. Okay. So Tony's asking, is the pattern true to size? Has anybody heard my answer to this when people ask for other garment classes? There's no such thing really as true to size because in the US at least, we don't have a set body measurement chart. Every company has their own, right? It's the same way, like if you go to the store, I can buy, a size 12 pair of jeans, a size 16, and they might both fit me, but they're 2 different brands. You know how that works? Like you're a size 8 in one company and a size 12 or 14 in another, because there's no standardized size chart. So true to size doesn't really mean anything when it comes to patterns. It's going to be based on the size chart and the body measurements, okay? So remember, this is a fitted top. And do we know what happens with measurements when we make a fitted garment with a stretch knit fabric? If it's fitted, that means that the fabric is stretched, which means you're getting negative ease. Does that make sense? So for example, I made the size large on this top, and that is for someone who has a bust of a size 40, a waist measurement of 33, and hips of 41. And I'll tell you right now, I ain't nowhere near those measurements. But because my fabric stretches, it just fits me snug and stretched. But it's not so snug that it's tight, okay? If I were to make the size XL, which is for a bust of 43 inches, a waist of 36, and hips of 44. So from size large to size XL, if each measurement, bust, waist, and hip, increases by 3 additional inches, I'm still not at the XL. But if I were to use the same fabric and make the extra large, it would fit me pretty much like this, except I'll tell you, the neckline will be a little bit lower because it's a little bit bigger, so it's gonna sit a little lower on my shoulders, and I'm just gonna have a little bit more wiggle room here and a little bit more wiggle room here if I use the exact same fabric. So I could make a bunch of these sizes just based on the size that I make and how much stretch the fabric has is going to determine how snug or how loose it fits me. Does that make sense? So you're choosing based on the size range of this, okay? All right, so what else? That's that, so that's that. And then we talked about the couple specialty tools that are optional. The other thing that I wanted to do, and for those of you that have been with me for a long time, I think we've only covered this in the in-person retreats that we did back in the day when we did garment sewing. I don't think I've ever featured this in any of the, and I haven't, now that I think about it, in any of the Jali classes. Excuse me. So, this is an awesome product. And who put us onto this first, Laura? I want to say it was Dr. Susie Brown, because she came and taught a class at one of our retreats years and years ago. And this is something that's popular with Palmer Pletch instructors. The lady that designs this is Emma Seabrook, and she runs a company called Sokeezy. She lives down in the Florida Keys. I don't know if she still does, but this is knit stay tape. They are extremely fine, okay? We're only carrying 2 types right now because they're the ones that I'll be using in the garment. You don't have to use this. You don't have to use this. I've made plenty of Westchester Dolman tops without this. But for those of you that are a little bit more intermediate, more advanced, and you're wanting to start using some specialty items to really elevate your garment sewing so they end up looking even more crisp and professional looking, this is great, okay? So the knit stay tape, I'm carrying it in the ivory color and in black. So depending on what fabric you plan to use, you can consider that. This measures 1/2 inch wide, okay, by 25 yards on the roll. Obviously, this is mine that I've been using for a good long while. Yours will be way bigger because 25 yards is a good bit. Can you see how thin this is? This, there it went. It's like that always happens now. It's like at least once, plop, plop, turns on and off. All right, so this stuff is super, super thin, and it's great for stabilizing hems if you're gonna do a narrow hem, necklines, side seams, shoulder seams, stuff like that if you want to, okay? Depending on the fabric. The thinner the fabric for me and the stretchier it is, like if you're working with a cotton spandex or a double brushed poly fabric like this that has like 130% stretch crosswise grain and the pattern calls for minimum 50%. Well, 130% is way more. I mean, it's more than twice what the pattern says like is the minimum. So you want to be super careful because some of you that maybe have done that before have found that the neckline ends up being like this big because it's just there's so much stretch built into the fabric naturally already that when you put it on it just keeps stretching because it's stretchy, okay? So this is going to help stabilize that curve, and so I got this little sample chunk that I just put here just to show y'all how you would apply it. Let me make sure that my steam iron is going. Woo, strong steam. Okay, so you would position this, and I'm feeling for the scratchy side. Remember, scratchy side of anything fusible is going to go down onto the fabric. You would position that like that. And I'm just going to do some of it because, you know, I'm not trying to waste my stuff. I use this and I love it. Okay, so you would put it right there and you would start to steam press it into place and you would curve around the curve because it is so light, so fine. And there's teensy bits of adhesive. You can easily press that down along the curve and fuse it into place to help what? Stabilize that edge, okay? On extremely stretchy fabric, it works fabulously, all right? Other times maybe you have seen where a pattern might call for some stay stitching or something like that, where we stitch right around there just to keep it, you know, have the thread and the stitching hold it a little bit more steady so that it doesn't get overly stretched out. when you go to attach the neckband. But I will just go like this. Little by little like that, okay? And you just keep pressing it down. And I don't even think you need steam because the heat is so fine. Like as soon as something hot hits it, it just melts it down, okay? So now that neckline is a little bit more stabilized. You see how when I go like this, it just hangs instead of just stretching out completely? It's so light though, you barely feel it. It's not like, if you tried to use some type of like a double-sided thicker tape that's more meant for like crafts and home decor, it would be too harsh for this lightweight stretchy fabric, okay? So I would put that there and then go in and attach my neckband normally. So I use, and that's why I'm carrying it, because these are the ones that we use. And this was how we started, right? Using it in a t-shirt class that Dr. Susie came to teach. Yes, there she is. She says yes. Hi. Hi, Dr. Brown. I'm glad you're on. She says, great tape. It is. So I use that one for the necklines, okay? Then the other one is a double-sided fusible tape that's 1 inch wide, like this. Look, a whole new one in my stash, okay? By 25 yards, so 1 inch wide. Now, I'll show you on an open one, and this one, honestly, I've had it for I don't know how many years. I use it sometimes on my hems. If the fabric has a little bit more body, I usually will just leave it, because by the time I get to hemming it, it's two layers, okay? But you got to be careful, because if I separate this from the paper, I mean, it's it's like dust. It's nothing. Like, it's so sheer, okay? So again, it's a fusible. So this by itself is just a super, super sheer web of fusible. And this makes it really easy to make your hems. On knits, I like 3/4 inch to 1 inch hems. I feel like they look nicer. They look more refined, okay? So I like to use the 1 inch one. And so I'll show you how that would work. And I'm just going to rip a chunk of this off. It's so easy to just cut. And I'll cut the paper here. Put the rest away. Be careful using this. You do not want this thing to unravel on you. Ooh, it would be a nightmare to try and roll back up. Okay, so I have my little sheer thing, and I have my little piece of the release paper that it has. And I know I had cut a rectangle somewhere to try this out, just to do a little sample. Where did I put it? Oop, hold on. This was the neckband. Oh, here's my rectangle. Okay. So pretend that this is the bottom of your shirt, okay? This is a straighter side. And I need to hem it like that, all right? Well, this is, oh my gosh, I can't even see it now. It's so fine, I lost. Oh, here it is. So look how sheer it is. So, so sheer. It's like nothing, okay? So I would, and because the whole thing of it is a fusible web, you can imagine that if I go like this, and I fold this up over it, if you press that, it's gluing both sides, because this whole thing is glue, okay? So you would measure your hem, you can mark it with your fabric marker, whatever you want to do, and then you would fold it over and press it, okay? When you press that there, it's going to fuse it, it's going to glue it, but still not super thick where you feel it super heavy, okay? Keep in mind that you're also folding over the fabric, so you're dealing with 2 layers of fabric now with some fusible inside. So then I would go like this, like this, like this. And this is really handy. For those of you that are kind of more beginners, this would be good, because if you cannot pin an accurate hem, you know what I'm talking about, where you go sew and you're like stitching from the pretty side and you cut the hem and then you miss it in some spots because your fabric wasn't folded over evenly and perfect. This is great because it's like a glue basting, except it's permanent in there, okay? And it's going to hold your hem in place, so you don't even need pins. By the time you do this, you head on over to your sewing machine, you flip it from the pretty side, you go in and you do your top stitching for the hem, and it just has a nice like body to it. I don't even know how to explain it. I'll also say I like having this in there because it makes the hem more substantial. So guess what happens with the top stitching? It looks better. Okay, so my top stitching, I did a can't even see it. I did a three-step straight stitch on my Juki NX7 back there, and it doesn't like pull the fabric, especially when you're working with lightweight knits. It doesn't pull the fabric. It doesn't make it you know, like snag or like the tension, one stitch is a little bit longer than the other. You know, when you're working with stretchy fabrics sometimes that aren't really stabilized, all kinds of stuff can happen, okay? So I really love the way that it makes it look. And that's what I used on this top. I used both. The one on the neckline, the 1/2 inch one, the knit stay tape, and then the double-sided fusible stay tape for the hem. And you can see, really, if you didn't even want to do any top stitching, you could, you know, leave it just like that. So that's that. All right, so that is how I would use those two optional items. Again, that's kind of like to elevate your garment sewing. You don't have to have it, okay? So let me pop into the chat real quick. Nancy's asking, will the 3 videos be available to watch more than just the live show? Yes, so anytime I do a live Q&A that's a part of a class, a sew along, a quilt along, I leave those videos in there so you'll always be able to watch the replay. So in other words, let's go over the calendar real quick for the live Q&As. The video lessons are already there. So if you want to go ahead and sign up, remember this is a free sew along and I'm giving you a free PDF and free 7-part video series on how to make the shirt. And we're doing a live sew along, so I'm going to add on 3 new live question and answer sessions. I'm going to be making one alongside y'all, so I'll be around to ask questions on these 3 nights, okay? We're going to go live first on next Thursday, May 16th, 2024 at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you cannot catch me live at 8 p.m., just tune in after and it will replay for you, okay? The next live after that, well, that one, and I put kind of a little title here. This calendar PDF is inside the course where it says live question and answer sessions. Y'all can click in there once you sign up and just download it and print it. That way you can add these dates and times to your own calendar, okay? The first one, we're going to be talking about supplies so that you gather up everything I'm giving you from today until next Thursday, okay? To gather up your supplies and get ready to start working on it. So I'll be answering questions on the supplies on that first one. The second live will be Monday, May 20th, same time, 8 p.m. And we'll be talking more about I'll be answering your questions on the cutting and the sewing of it, okay? And then the third live will be that following Thursday, May 23rd, same time, and that will be covering tips and stuff for and answering your questions on hemming and the bands, which are like the finishing touches, okay? Ooh, let me see what I have here. Yes, Tamara says a stay tape is good to prevent more stretching of the neckband and hem. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Brenda says, I use Stitch Witchery, but that looks like it will still drape nicely. So this stuff is specific to working with these lightweight knits because it's an extremely fine fusible, okay? Which is key because, you know, if you use like Wonder Under or something, it's too much, okay? All right, let's see. Yeah, so all the lives will be available after the fact. Renee's asking where I got the iron that I'm using. I bought it at QuiltCon last year from a shop in Georgia somewhere. It's a Laura Star iron. It's pricey. The steam is good, so I like it. Let's see. Carla's asking about getting the pattern in like the A0 size or A0 size. We don't have that because we sell the hard copy pattern. So you can either print out the free PDF with the pages or purchase the hard copy pattern. So those are the only 2 options. We haven't changed it in years. So we might reconsider that, but that's how it is for right now. Okay? Roxanne says the fabric appears to be sold out. Thanks for the heads up. If the fabric is sold out, we will be adding some more. They're not going to be the same fabric prints, okay? Because I just have the bolts of these, and I don't have more than 1 bolt of each of the fabric. So we'll go over this real quick just for those of you that ordered. This was a cactus on navy fabric. It's a double brushed polyester spandex. I know it looks super dark there. Let me see if I can lighten this. There you can kind of see that it's more navy. That looks more like the true color, okay? That was one. In case there's still any, I know people are buying them up. This is the other one. This is the cactus on mint, okay? I know it's cacti, but search engine optimization. I had to put cactus. Okay, and then this is the one that I'm wearing. I think I labeled it black floral on pumpkin. And you can pretty much see it looks the same as what I'm wearing here. I think it's a little bit more orange. It looks more like what my shirt is here. Okay, so those are the ones. But If these sold out already, we'll be adding a few more. I think I have a striped double brush poly that's black, maybe with like a burgundy and white stripe or something like that. And I think we have some other ones that are mostly navy with some white butterflies. So we'll be adding some more, and we'll just send them out via email, okay? Once we restock, we'll send them out via email. But I am going to be sending it out to the email list of the students that are enrolled in the free sew along, okay? So make sure you sign up for the sew along. Otherwise, you're not going to get the notifications about anything going on with this sew along, okay? Because we're going to pull the email list just from the people that are registered so that we don't bombard everybody else who doesn't care about sewing tops, okay? Let's see. Yeah, so Linda says, if we have already taken the class, will we be able to get the live calendar? Absolutely. So that's part of the reason I'm doing these live, like the live component to the sew alongs, is because if you already have the class, hopefully this gives you a little boost to want to make it if you've never made it, or make it again. And you're for sure going to learn some new tips because we're adding a couple different things in there. We'll talk about different stitches. And then based on the questions that are submitted to me, you know, you're going to be hearing my answers to those questions, which are likely to be different than stuff that we've covered in the past. So absolutely. Oh yeah, Winless Original says, I have the pink version of the cacti. It's a really great fabric. Yep, we used to have the pink too. So Terry's asking, will the dates be listed on your T community and Facebook? I'm not sure what T community is in Facebook. So the dates for the lives is a downloadable PDF inside of the sew along page. I put everything, whatever the classes that we're doing, all the information you need, links to stuff, download the PDF, the cover sheet, whatever, the calendar, it's all going to be in there, okay? So I will plug it a little bit more on my Facebook page to get some more people to join up, since you have until next Thursday to gather your supplies so that we can then go live and start chit-chatting. And I will be, you know, cutting up my fabric and working on another shirt alongside y'all so you can ask questions, and I can make myself another shirt in time for summer. All right. Oh, my YouTube community. Yeah, so I'll put it on the community tab. That's a good reminder. So I will be posting it on the YouTube community tab, but those lives, again, are going to be just for people that are enrolled in the sew along. Whoop, wrong way. So yeah, so if you want to participate, make sure to click the link. It's free. It's free. You just need fabric and the free PDF pattern if you want to join along. Well, obviously some other supplies that you need for sewing, but yeah. Janice says, does it matter what color tape you buy? My fabric is leopard print. I don't really think so. You know, I've even used the ivory one on like navy and black tops. You don't really see through it. The only time that I think it would matter is like if the fabric is super duper sheer, right? And you wanted this to kind of blend in. But on this color, I used the ivory one and it didn't matter. And then the double-sided fusible tape stuff is just clear, so that doesn't matter at all, okay? So hope that helps. All right. Okay, awesome. So I covered the free PDF. To sign up for the sew along, click the link in the description box below or the caption, and then you just have to click where it says I want to sign up or something like that, and you enter your email address. We immediately send you an email, and that will have all the info with the link on how to enroll in the class. And the class is super laid out. Those of you that have participated in my online courses and my clubs, you already know how the course platform looks. For those of you that are new, it's super easy. Just click the link and you'll be like, ta-da, you're in the class, okay? All right. Oh, great question. Hi, Kathy Ann. She's asking, sorry, I haven't watched one of your shirt videos in a while. Are you using the cover stitch to finish your hem on your shirt? I'm not, but you can. Okay, I like to keep this one since it's so beginner friendly, just to kind of pull people into garment sewing. So this top, the one that I'm actually wearing that I just made, I have a serger, I have cover stitches. I made this one completely on a sewing machine. Go ahead and give them the front shot. This shirt was completely made on a sewing machine with straight and zigzag stitches. Okay, so you can make it just on a sewing machine that has straight and zigzag stitches. Okay. That's another reason that I did the sleeve bands here, so that you wouldn't have to hem it and cover stitch it. If, you know, some people don't like the way that straight stitching looks. Some people don't like the way that zigzag stitching looks to finish off a hem. So instead you have a hem band. So that's really, you know, home sewing machine friendly. And then the hem band down here of the shirt, I always, those of you that have been with me for a while know how much I love that triple straight stitch. But not all machines have the triple straight stitch. So if they don't, what we'll be doing down here, or what I'll be telling y'all you need to do is use a zigzag stitch. And you can use a really narrow one. It doesn't have to be like a super big zigzag to let everybody know this is homemade. You can just do a really narrow zigzag so that you still preserve the stretch at the bottom of the hem, but it doesn't look super big, okay? Hi, Mia. I'm so excited that you're tuning in and that you're going to join us. Going to be so fun. Brenda's asking, is this going to be different than the previous class? So the video lessons are the same because I walk you through step by step. What we're adding to it to make it a sew along and it's like in real time is the 3 live question and answer session component to the class, okay? So that people can ask me questions directly. We'll be answering it. I'll be doing demos and I'll be showing you my progress on my Westchester Dolman top as I make it with y'all in the sew along, okay? So yes, super, super fun. Hi, Michelle. She says, remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're going to join us in this Westchester Dolman top sew along, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Awesome. And Zena says, thank you, Vanessa. I can't wait to sew this top. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great. Yep. And Susie, who is a Palmer Pletch certified instructor, says that the color doesn't matter of the stay tape. Okay, so there you go, from somebody who's used it way more than me. from the lady that put me onto it. All right. Let's see. All right, and I think that's it. I don't see any more questions for me. So yes, go ahead and sign up. Click the link. Check your email in the inbox. You'll have a link to enroll in the class, and that's how you're going to access everything, the PDF calendar, the free PDF to download it, as well as the live question and answer sessions, okay? So thanks again for tuning in today, everybody. I hope to see you in the sew along. And today's Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week and grab some fabrics if you weren't able to get some from us today. We will be sending out an email to everybody that's enrolled as soon as we restock. Not the same prints like I mentioned earlier, different fabrics, but we will let you know when those are back in stock. Okay, so thanks again for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, everybody.